Canucks close out the 80s with a game here at the Pacific Coliseum tomorrow night against the Philadelphia Flyers. It has been a turbulent decade here in Vancouver, to say the least. 6 coaches have come and gone, 4 general managers, and not even a .500 record in the standings. Except for one brief shining moment in the spring of 1982 when they reached the Stanley Cup final, this has been a decade that has Canuck fans looking forward to the 90s.
The decade begins with a blockbuster trade.
I kind of like going to Vancouver. It's a Canadian city. It's near home.
In spite of his showmanship, the Canucks would pay dearly, losing #1 picks Rick Vive and Bill Derlego to the Leafs. But the team's most valuable player in 1980 would be Stan Smyl. He would become the last NHL player to lead his team in goals, assists, points, and penalty minutes in a single season. In 1981, the Canucks reached beyond traditional hockey borders to Czechoslovakia. They plucked former international all-stars Ivan Holinka and Yuri Bubla from behind the Iron Curtain. All told, there were 9 non-Canadians on the roster, a veritable Tower of Babel on ice.
Hola, hola.
1982 saw another familiar face depart Vancouver. Glenn Hanlon was traded to St. Louis, and little did we realize that a king was about to be crowned. Richard Brodeur, acquired in a seemingly insignificant trade with the Islanders, became the toast of the town as he led the upstart Canucks on an improbable journey. Harry Neale, the team's coach since 1978, was suspended by the league after a fight in Quebec, exit the GM pro tem, and enter his assistant Roger Nielsen. A month later, Nielsen turned a sign of surrender into a symbol of victory, and an entire province went hockey mad. The Canucks' impossible dream ended when the Islander juggernaut swept them in the final. It would be, for all who were there, a moment to remember.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
You talk about teams that need character. Well, you couldn't talk anymore about that team having character. Everything was there, and the work ethic from every individual on that ice and on that team is what carried us a long ways, and we stuck together.
Over here, men.
The heady days of the spring of '82 would never recur. 1983 saw the team go quietly in the first round of the playoffs. As 1984 unfolded, so too did the coaching tenure of Roger Nielsen. Hailed as a genius only 18 months before he was let go in mid-season.
The reason given was that the team was not living up to its preseason expectations.
Exit Nielsen and re-enter Neal. The change behind the bench did not bring any different results at year's end. That summer, the Canucks opted to go in another direction. Bill LaForge was hired as the team's 8th coach. His 4 wins and 20 starts a testimony to the franchise's biggest mistake. GM Harry Neale returned one last time to pick up the pieces. The season, though, was a write-off, as the Canucks missed the playoffs for the first time since Neale arrived on the Vancouver hockey scene. By summer of 1985, the Neale era had ended. Tom Watt, once an assistant here, was handed the coaching reins. 2 years of futility later, he too was swept aside for a new regime, headed by Pat Quinn. Despite all the changes, the one constant all decade long has been Stan Smyl, who even amidst the chaos could point to the 90s with some optimism.
Myself personally, being involved with the team in 10 years and seeing the sense of direction that we're going now, it looks good, and that's exciting for our team and our organization.